Point number 3 is seen in verse 5. Then Boaz said, on the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you must also buy it from Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to perpetuate the name of the dead through his inheritance. So now there's a complication. We are not just buying what? Land. We are also buying back who? Somebody, because of the death, to perpetuate the name. So there's a complication. So if it was only the land, it's different, but it comes with the land and it comes with somebody else. And look at verse 6, what the man said. Even though he said, I'm willing to buy the land, in verse 6, he says, and the close relative said, I cannot what? Redeem it for myself. Lest I what? I ruin my own inheritance. So in this case, I'm sure the man has a wife or something, and he says, if I don't want to go into Naomi Ruth so that I can raise up seed. He now says, you redeem my right of redemption for yourself. For what? I cannot. So number 1 is the person must be what? A close relative. Point number 2 is that what? The person must have capacity. Point number 3 is the willingness to redeem. And that willingness means accepting every responsibility, complication, stigma. I accept it fully. The willingness, everything that has to do with that. Because this man fulfilled point 1 and 2. He was a close relative. He had capacity. But when he saw the complications of redemption, he said, I'm no longer what? I'm no longer interested. So Boaz, now you can take the right and you can fulfill the right. Jesus fulfilled all 3 for us. Hebrews 2:14 says, for as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he likewise himself partook of flesh and blood. That Hebrews 2:14 was for him to fulfill the condition 1 of our close relative. That's why he was born of a woman. That's to fulfill the concept of our close relative. That he went through, he has been tempted in every way as we are. That's the context of a close relative. He understands everything that we're going through. He identified with us, point number 1. In point number 2 is the capacity for redemption. Notice in this case, Jesus fulfilled that, because the capacity for redemption, we see that in 1 Peter 1:18 and 19. That for as much then you were not redeemed with corruptible things like silver and gold, but with the precious blood of the Lamb. 1 Peter 1:18 and 19. That the Lamb without blemish. So our redemption was not with silver and gold like in the case of Boaz and Ruth and the rest. It required an innocent blood. And Jesus is the only person that walked on earth without sin. He was untainted by sin. You understand? You are not redeemed from corruptible things like silver and gold. Go to verse 19. He says, with the precious blood of Jesus, precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. So in this place, we see that Jesus can redeem us to God because he's the only person that's lived a life without sin. That's point number 2, the capacity of redemption, the capacity to buy back. Point number 3 is the willingness. Now, you know that redemption comes with certain complications and the rest. And that other closer relative was putting his own inheritance. He said, if I redeem it now, it will do what? It will ruin my inheritance, guys. So for him, his own inheritance and his reputation was more important than that of Ruth and all that. Now you understand Philippians chapter 2, that Jesus made himself of what? Of no reputation.